Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Okay. Hey. Pin. Perfect. Okay. You all are ready to go on YouTube. Let's get Instagram and TikTok up. Okie doke. Alrighty. And we're ready to rock. Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hey. Hey y'all, happy Sunday. All right, let's get into it. I got a lot to say. Welcome back to my channel. This is Adana, also known as the Afrozine. And today I'm reading for the beautiful, handsome collective. Hello, collective. How you doing? Flowers, flowers, flowers. Flowers, flowers, flowers. Flowers, flowers, flowers. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. To book a private reading with me or to shop in my store, all that information is in the description box below. Okay, before I get into the read, don't forget to grab your copy here of this book. It is called Wisdom Beyond Wounds. It was created by me, for me, and also the collective here that may have experienced uh, may have experienced narcissism at any type of level here. Okay, this book is readily available for purchase on Amazon.com. All you have to do is literally type in Wisdom Beyond Wounds and it will pop right up, as long as with my other publications that I have created as well too. All right, thank you so much for your immense support. All right, let's get into this read. Channel message here is that the courts are scrambling. Please keep in mind that this is a collective read. Everything that I mentioned to you may not resonate with you, okay? Take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, hey y'all. So channel message, courts are scrambling. So there is a clerk here. So if you are a person that is going to court, has been to court surrounding custody, child custody specifically, okay? Or some form of financial inheritance, okay? Take it how it resonates. The courts are scrambling. The reason why is because someone with whoever is against you, who's trying to basically make you the defendant, and they want to be the plaintiff here. So the plaintiff is the person that actually creates the case or starts up the case here to present it to court. And then you will come in as the so-called defendant here, where you have to defend what the plaintiff is trying to, get to have on their side here. Okay. But a county clerk or a clerk of court here have told this person to throw the case. So this could be against your child's parent, the other parent, or it could be actually against your parent. But again, take it how it resonates, okay? But anywho, they were trying to figure out how they could finagle you in court, because they knew that if you were to come to court, they knew that you would completely blow them out the water in regards to the substantial evidence, factual evidence that you have against them here. And they did not want you to have a fair chance or a fair shot to ensure that your side was heard. So they wanted to throw the case. They needed to figure out how they could throw the case without you being aware that the case was even being thrown, or even if there was a case here. So initially, they didn't even want you to be aware that there was a case here, because if you don't show up to court, well, then sometimes, or in most cases here, your point of view or your position or stance, the defendant side, will become null and void. Okay, and that's what they wanted to do. But you were still able to find out that there were some court proceedings here, and they were trying to leave you out of here because they didn't want you to, again, to have your fair shot here. So they were able to, and it could be within the family dynamic here. They may have a connection, or someone is aware as to how things work within the system here, and they utilize that to their potential here, or to their advantage here, to ensure that they will stay on top of this whole situation here. Now it's not working out because things are starting to fall apart, because people are pulling out, and they're pulling out because they are afraid. People are afraid to lose their job. They're afraid to lose their positions. And I'm speaking about people that have been in the system for many, many years, okay? Judicial system for many, many, many years here. So with that being said, people are pulling away because they don't want that heat underneath their name. But as I mentioned, digital footprints and other things have led them down a path where they're not able to get out of this destruction that they have created for themselves. Okay, there are a few names that popped up while I was in my meditative state. Again, take this how this resonates. It's not going to resonate for everybody. Okay, we have the names Rochelle, Winona, Winona, Waylon, Waylon, Willow, Willow, Willa, Willa, Simon, Simeon, Simeon, Scarlett, Sawyer, Sawayer, Sienna, Sienna, Stella or Stella Rose, Cortez or Lee. Okay. Then I took the liberty of breaking down two words here, because all this is going to make sense at the end. So I looked up the etymology of the word set up, and I looked up the etymology of the word vulnerable. Okay. So the etymology of the word set up is to bring someone to a vulnerable position. Okay. So these individuals here thought that you were already in a vulnerable state here. Maybe you were speaking out in regards to the grievances or the things that, other people have done to you here. And they thought that they were able to capitalize off your vulnerability here, because they thought that you were speaking more so from a hurt, or more so from a space where you would be considered as weak in that kind of way. So it led me to look up the etymology of the word vulnerable here, which is to wound, to hurt, to injure, or to maim. So vulnerability is a great thing to do or have, but it depends on the level of perception, also the emotional intelligence that that person may have when it comes to becoming very vulnerable here. And again, you're speaking to a person, or you were connecting with a person who did not understand your point of view when it came to vulnerability or becoming vulnerable here, which is why they thought that when you were actually vulnerable with them, more so being honest from your part here, again, they took that as a form of weakness. So they wanted to capitalize off your weakness and more so disadvantage you towards the truth that you were speaking, which actually makes you very vulnerable here. They didn't like what you were saying or what you were speaking. So they had to find a way to, again, disadvantage you here, so that way they can more so set you up to be vulnerable, but more so from a lower perspective or a low vibrational way of thinking or ways, if that makes sense. So there's a court clerk, clerk of the courts clerk, whatever, however you call those individuals. We'll just say employee, okay, that is working or has been working with them here, has completely decided to just leave everything alone, because they realize that there are other people that are watching, or more so they have been inclined to ask specific questions surrounding why things are happening the way that it's happening, if that makes sense. They don't have the answer for that. So again, it's for a child custody case or some form of a probation, or not probation. It could be a probation case. Yeah, it could be a probation case. That was a Freudian slip. Or it could be a probate case. So again, take it how it resonates. Nonetheless, here, there's some form of a court something that's going on here. And the court is pulling away. I'm going to use my kipper first. Because you've gotten wind in regards to who they are. You know who the players are. You know what each person has set out to do, or what their task we're doing here. And it's going to put them in a very poverty mindset first. Okay. The reason why they're in a poverty mindset first here is because money was passed through each other to throw the case, okay? Now also the poverty mindset comes in because they're guilty, they feeling guilty in regards to what they're doing. So now they're starting to, like, their mind has started to break down, or more so playing tricks on them, because they're trying to figure out like how they can get out of the situation. So they feel like their mind has been impoverished with the guilt that they're feeling here, and they don't know how to get out of that. Everyone, I don't want to say everyone, I'll just say more so the innocent definitely deserves a shot at justice, or should have rights to have justice in a very fair and equal way, equality, if that makes sense. Despite whatever background you come from, you should have that option to be able to have your voice heard, to people seeing your evidence, your substantial evidence. Like, that is a right, okay? But these individuals wanted to take that away from you because they knew, yet again, that if you were to show up here, you would blow them out the water, and they can't have that happening here. So this is why they've been scrambling in court here, because they're trying to figure out who's going to take the blame for this. Now the clerk is not going to take the blame, or don't want to take the blame. They're going to try to throw the person that wanted to take you to court, they're going to throw them underneath the bus. This is the same person here who tried to set you up in a way to you were physically harmed here. So basically, as I've been mentioning before in all of my other readings here, all of the arrows are really pointing back towards this person. We do have courtship here. So again, take a high resonates. It could be, like I said, your child's other parent here that did not want to see you get far in life, that did not want to see you with anyone else, that didn't want you to have a leg up, or more so be more stronger than them. So this is a form or a sign of weakness when it comes to them in regards to how they were trying to manipulate things in their favor here, okay? Okay, good. Oh, all right, so we have adjudication here. We have adjudication here. Yes, it was adjudication. They were fighting you to stay with them, or they were fighting the lies to stay with them, because that's the only way they felt that they can beat you. You are too truthful in nature. Like, you represent truthfulness 100%. And because of the truth that you speak, it becomes very triggering for individuals who are not able or to receive the truth as is, if that makes sense. So with this courtship here, somebody, I think I said Cortez, someone's name is Cortez. So that's coming up a lot, the name Cortez, okay? But take that how that resonates. Someone's name could be also Montez or Michelle, Montana, Montana, or Montagane. I guess that's pronounced Montana as well, or Ortega. Someone's last name or first name could be Ortega or Ortiz, okay? So again, take that how that resonates. Someone's name could be Carlos or Fernandez, okay? We got false person here, okay? Hey, y'all. Let me put it over here. Someone could be 37. You may have a 4-year-old. You could be fighting in court for the past 4 years. Someone could be 30 years old. You could be 38. You could be 34. You could be 37. Someone could be born in 1973, 74, 37, 1930, 1938, 1983, 1984, 1987. Take that how that resonates, okay? Someone's name is Waldorf, Waldorf, or Waldo. I'm hearing the name Astoria, 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 okay? They're in hysteria because you figured this out. You were not supposed to figure this out. So they don't want the heat on them. Yeah, they don't want the heat on them here. Come on, Spirit, talk to me on this good Sunday. Yeah. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, Lord, child. We got court case, courthouse. And we have family room here. There were a lot of talks, a lot of meetings surrounding how they can keep you quiet, or how to keep you from speaking up and out here. My whole perspective or stance on this here is that when someone is thinking or attempting to plan or plot on you here, as I mentioned before, you have every right to know what that plot or plan is, because how you going to try to plot or plan against the collective, but you don't want the collective to be aware about the plan. To me, that doesn't make sense. If you're trying to do something towards me, and it don't matter what it is, more so in a negative way, I feel I have the right to know what you're trying to plan or do towards me here so I can protect myself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't see it in that way. You can't plan on someone and try to lead them out the plan and then get mad when they're fully aware as to what the plan is. You know what I mean? And then try to scramble. Come on, let's keep, if they're going to keep the energy straight 100 all the way through. Don't try to switch it around. Don't try to backtrack. Don't try to regress. Don't try to become quiet. Don't try to scramble around like a roach in the light. Like, don't do any of that. If that makes sense, you have a right to know if someone is planning on you. Well, what's the plan? Oh, you're planning against the collective? Well, the collective should know what the plan is, but they don't see it that way, if that makes sense. But anywho, there's a mature woman here that is involved. So it could be a mother figure, grandmother, aunt, a cousin, an older cousin, a great aunt, an older sister, however it resonates. It could even be a co-worker as well too here. But this mature woman here had insider intel, specifically if you're going through like a custody case or a court case here surrounding this. They were fully aware in regards to what was going on. So they were feeding false information for what they thought they knew of you here. And they were giving it to not only the courts here, but they were giving it to this other child's parent. That's one way perspective. The other way in regards to probation. So you may be on probation. And the reason why you may be on probation here is because they may have set you up in a way to kind of, make you fall here. So you may have to, you may have reacted in a way that may have got you caught up. Okay, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just telling you what's right. Okay, you're going to get out of the situation. Like everything is going to work is going to work out for you here. So if you feel like your record might be messed up, or your background record may be messed up, all that's going to be taken care of. It's going to be deleted from your files. It's going to be erased from your name. You know what I mean? You're going to be okay. Okay. But the other way as well here in regards to probation here is that this mother figure or this mature woman here was fully aware of like your triggers. And maybe you weren't aware how to maneuver through your triggers at the point in time. So they capitalized off of that and they told this person what to say and what to do to get you in a position to kind of, get you in trouble here. Don't even worry about it. If you were in trouble, again, don't worry about it. Everything is going to work out for you. But this mature woman here is the culprit or the reason why you were going through the way that you were going through the things that you were going through here. Okay. Anthony, thank you. It's by Zulul, Zeeelool. That's the name of the website for my glasses. Yes, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the website is Zeelool. That's the name of the website. All right, so we had bad health here. Okay, so and this can also be for child support as well too, but it's surrounding a court some kind of proceeding. Okay, but with bad health here now, this mature woman is in a lot of bad health here because people are seeing them as the false person here, but they weren't the only false person though. Okay, they weren't the only false person in this whole predicament or situation here, but because they feel that people are watching them or people are aware as to what's going on, again, you're going to start to see the ailment take off within their health. You're going to see their whole body start to shift. They may get very emaciated. They may get very skinny. They may get very weak. You're going to see that actually play out on this person's body here. That's the stress that's taking over, or that's the stress that's eating them here, okay? So going back to the clerk of the court here, this clerk is going to lose their job. I do feel like after all this is said and done, or more so blown up in a way where it becomes publicly, because this is going to be publicly known as well too. I strongly feel there's going to be some stronger, stringent protocol in regards to things that won't be able to happen in this way again, okay? Surrounding court or proceedings here. Yes, the pathway is open here because too many people that are in this whole situation or debacle here, they were paid to keep quiet or to throw it off. So that throw the scent off basically here, and it looks really bad on this looks really bad on their part here because they don't have any integrity, they don't have any morals. And I know for a fact when you enter one of these type of facilities here, that's the first thing they say. In some cases, they even have you swear on the Bible to ensure that you speak the truth. So it's kind of odd that some of these individuals here want you to abide by these certain type of protocols here, but when they're the one that's working behind the scene or working behind the desk or however it resonates here, they're not able to facilitate that amongst the public here. And I just don't think that's fair. You know what I mean? But it's okay. So change is here. So they want you to be angry, but it's really, I understand you could be angry. I get that because that's a very valid emotion. But when it comes to this type of situations here, you really can't be angry. You really have to be more logical when it comes to that. But as I mentioned, it's a lot about a child here, okay? It could be about the money being given to a child. You could be the adult child, okay? That's one way. Another way, again, is a custody case here where, you know, the other parent wants money from you. That's another scenario. There's many different scenarios. Just choose what resonates for you here, okay? But with that being said here, changes are going to come surrounding that as well too. The child will stay with you or remain with you or be reunited with you. Again, however it resonates here. They thought your vulnerability were going to be used in a way where they can disadvantage you. And the only thing they really did, honestly and truthfully, is that they disadvantaged themselves because of the weakness that they are exhibiting here, okay? Thank you for the lightning bolt. Yeah, so we have the lantern here. So things are slowed down or slowing down to a pace or may have completely halted here. Because like, oh shoot, they see us. It's like they kind of like, they're in the suspension. They're like stuck in suspension or stagnant in suspension here. And eye is here, so they're trying to stay underneath the veil or trying to hide in darkness here. But the more darkness they hide in, the more they'll be exposed. Again, you are the light. Remember this and never forget. You are the light, and you have crossed or you have walked through many parts of darkness here where you, the only thing you did have was the light, if that makes sense. So with that being said here, if they want to continue to hide in the dark, it's going to do whatever it needs to do here. Y'all can't see me on TikTok? Let me know. Can y'all see me okay on TikTok? It keeps freezing. So is it freezing? Let me know, because if I have to start over, I'll start over. Okay, so if it's freezing, for the ones that saying it's freezing, come out of here, get out of the actual chat, and then come back in, okay? Or you may have to restart your phone. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So for, if you don't mind, for the commenters in the comment, if you see anyone saying it's freezing, could you just help guide them to get out of the chat and then re-enter, please, so I can stay focused. All right, so let's keep moving forward. So we have cat here, okay? Maybe you just purchased a cat, or maybe you just got a kitten, or maybe you're part of the kitten distribution thing, if that makes sense. Like if you're outside and you're just kind of doing your thing and a cat just kind of come up to you and kind of rub you on your ankle or your leg here, if that makes sense. They say they have like this, some kind of method, like that's your cat or the cat chose you. So it's like a cat distribution something, okay? So with that being said, you may have just received a cat, or a cat may have came up to you. You may have taken in a cat, or maybe you feed cats. And then also someone's name could be Kat or Catherine or Kathleen. That's another way I'm looking at this. And also they're just very afraid, because whenever you notice that a cat, they are in a space where they feel frantic or scared, you see the back of their, their back kind of stands up, or the hair on their back kind of stands up in this way. So it's like a or like a hissing kind of thing. But we do have healing here, okay? Maybe you've never had a pet before and this is your first time having a pet, and maybe a cat is your, your first pet here. Again, take a high resonates, but there's something very holistic or healing surrounding this cat here, okay? Good morning. Hey y'all, good morning. There's also some documentation surrounding like text messages here. So they were trying to use like burner phones and things of that nature. But despite them using burner phones or fake numbers here, they're still using technology. And as I mentioned before, technology creates some form of a digital footprint here. So it really doesn't matter what they tried to do, they're still going to be caught, okay? Yeah, we got laws. Yeah, we got lost here, and it's spreading quickly. Not only is it spreading quickly, they're very aggressive because of the way that it's spreading quickly here, okay? Is that better for you guys on TikTok? All right, we have community here as well too. Yes, the community is fully aware or is spreading out to the community in regards to just how diabolical and how evil spirited, or more so just ruthless that these individuals were. Because to be honest here, this was just unnecessary. They did all this just to make sure that people can't see them for the filth that they are. If that makes sense. Hey, Nidra. Yeah, it's just really sad in regards to how some people think here, because they think that they may have the upper hand in certain situations here, that they can utilize that to their advantage. But everything that's created is always going to fall at some point in time. If that makes sense, not everything is going to stay hoisted up for forever. This is where the changes come in. This is where the cycles come in here. And now it's time for the guards to switch hands. Hopefully that makes sense here. So the underdogs, and I really don't like that word, but I'll just use it from this perspective here. I don't like calling y'all the underdogs, but you're at the bottom and now you're going to be at the top. And the ones that were at the top doing the foolishness here, because they have shown us time after time here that they're not a good representative of what someone would do if they were in a good space, or a good person, you know what I mean, or a kind person. So the changing of the guards are happening where you're at the top and they're at the bottom here, and they can't handle that. Well, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, and don't, the other word, don't do any of those things, and it wouldn't be in this position. I mean, why is it so hard to be a good person? Like, let's talk about it. Why is it so hard to be a good person? Yep, Grants, we went through a lot of things. We all have different experiences here. Yep. But why is it that because someone may go through an experience, a harsh experience, that the first thing they want to do, or the last thing they want to do, is they want to just be evil for the rest of their life here? Okay, if they want to be, that's on them. If that makes sense. They can't blame anyone but themselves. We all have choices in regards to what we can do for ourselves to ensure we having the best day up, in regards to that day here. And they can't blame you for this because they're the one that did this. They felt some kind of way towards you. They had evil intentions or negative intentions towards you here to do this foolishness. So, I mean, I don't understand it. And then getting mad because you're not in the position that they want you to be in. It don't make sense, man. You have a plan for the collective. The collective found out the plan. Now you're mad that the collective found out the plan about the collective. Come on. Like, make this make sense. You ain't supposed to know. Why not? If you do anything towards me, I'm going to know. The hell? That's my right. Don't allow nobody to blindside you with foolishness. Nobody. I don't care who it is. Nobody. Because that's when they think that these are the God complexes here. Oh yeah, they will never know it's me. They never that. Yeah, they have the God complex. Those individuals don't believe in a higher source or higher power, which is why they feel that they're more susceptible to get away with the things that they do towards people here. And that's shame. Yeah, they brought their own shame to themselves. They've always had shame. Shame has been regressed or pushed down from the things that they have done, because after they've done what they've done and behind closed doors, they do feel shame about it. They just won't show you that, or they won't tell you that part of themselves. They feel very shame about it. And then they get in regards to getting back into a space where they don't feel shame because they go out and they do it again, if that makes sense. So since they want to continue to live in shame because they've been living in shame for a very long time, why not just bring it out publicly for everyone to see? I mean, they're the one that's doing it, right? They're doing things publicly, but in a private manner. So they think. So they think. And whatever they feel is private is not private. That's what they're not understanding. Poor Tinks. Here I go with this hotness again. Oh, we're a little high. So we got red flag here. Flag on the play. They're holding the flags that they don't want to hold, but they're the one that's creating it. They're holding the flags. They're wearing the flags. And then when you call them out for the red flag that they're wearing or holding, that's not a red flag. That's not red. You're seeing things. You're delusional. You're seeing exactly what you need to see, which is why they don't like the fact that you can see it. Remember, they're doing all this because you overpower them. And I need for you to understand this from this perspective. You overpower them in so many ways that they don't want you to see. Hence the reason why they're doing it behind your back. Why can't they have a conversation with you? Why they can't come towards you and say how they feel about you? Because they know that you will overpower them with the truth. Your truth is too much to handle. Your truth is too triggering. It is. It's a fear of your power, the truth. Yeah. Let's say that your power brings them shame. Yes, it does. Going back to the etymology of the word vulnerable, to wound, to hurt, to injure, and to maim. They need to wound you to feel powerful over you. They need to make you feel vulnerable from a low vibrational point of view here to hurt you, to injure you, to maim you. So you got energy drain. That's how they were going to be successful with energetically draining you here by putting you in a vulnerable position. No one is helping me. No one is listening to me. I can't receive the help that I need. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That is the predicament or situation, specific situation that they needed you to be in, because it helps, it actually lowers your defenses and it lowers the power that you actually have within yourself, if that makes sense. So that's why I keep saying it's very important, more so imperative, to ensure that you're not allowing anyone to take from you, siphon from you, or strip you from your energy or your power. Does that make sense? How else was this going to work? They needed you to be involved in order for it to work. They needed you up here and upset. And you don't know what's going on, and you don't know where it's coming from. They needed to sidetrack you. They needed you to be outside of self. They needed you to be distracted outside of self. Because if you're distracted outside of self, you can't hear the messages that are coming to you. You won't be able to receive the messages that are coming to you. If that makes sense? That's all they are. They're nothing but distraction. It's an external influence. That's all this is an external influence to get you away from you. And you cannot get away from you. You cannot. Especially not in these time and ages. You cannot. Someone's playing the harmonica. Pride. Okay, they have too much pride. Ego is obstructing their progress and building walls where there could be bridges, making it difficult to accept help or admit wrongdoing. Humility opens the path to true connection and understanding. They don't have that. All they have is pride. Well, they're losing their pride now, because that is what was shielding them from, we'll just say, the consequences of their actions. Somebody could be from Toledo, Toledo, Toledo. Someone's name could be Swanson or Swenson, okay? Swanson or Swenson. Someone's name could be Sweet, actually, name could be actually Sweet, okay? Someone's name is Andrea. Yeah, so now they're humiliated. Well, they brought that on themselves. So the moment that they became humiliated, because you are aware and also the community is aware here, is a moment where they're trying to throw the blame on other people. That's the emotional turmoil, no emotional intelligence. It is also an emotional trigger, if that makes sense. Now they're distracted. They're uber distracted. They're double distracted, triple, quadruple distracted. They are distracted by the things that they were trying to do towards you. Now they're stuck in their own distraction, if that makes sense. So now they feel humiliated because they have drained all of their energy. They tried to drain yours, but they needed to drain themselves first before they can drain you. I hope that makes sense. And that's exactly what they did. They utilized all their time, effort, and energy from what they had within themselves firstly and initially. They use up all that they had, all of their resources here, and your energy is either staying the same or is growing or is evolving or is ascending, if that makes sense. And once they realize that, the more they try to energetically drain you here is the moment that they realize at the end of it all, they don't have anything left when it comes to them, if that makes sense, which is why they're humiliated. They feel tired. See where I'm going with this? They feel lethargic. They feel embarrassed, if that makes sense. They're feeling all these things because they drained themselves. They did, not you. They drained themselves due to the actions that they decided to take against you or towards you here. And they can't handle that. Oh, well, they were irresponsible with their time. They were irresponsible with their time, their effort, and their energy with reckless. This is why you're seeing them tired and depleted. You're like, yo, what? Why you look like that? Like, what's going on with you? That kind of way. This is why they're experiencing big bouts of loss. Because they don't know how to play this game. They don't. They do not. Yes. Come on, Spirit. They were naive. Yes, and they still are. Yeah, lies and grudge, if that makes sense. They're holding a grudge against you because you don't believe their lies. Hear that? They're specifically holding a grudge against you or towards you here because you won't believe their lies. How dare you don't believe my lies? And I'm going to make you pay for not believing my lies. And this is where they start to drain themselves. They become irresponsibly reckless with their energy. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So you getting this person, or you putting this person in a position where they're doubting themselves because they really thought they had power over you and they never did, if that makes sense. So you're showing them like, oh, okay, well, what else you got? What else you got, little fella? What else you got, little dog? That kind of way. And they just keep, they just keep throwing their little puny little punch. You take that, and you get that, and you're like, oh, okay, you're right, little fella, little dog. And they just keep trying to punch you, and the little punches ain't doing nothing to you, child. So when you're not moved by what they're doing here, it becomes obsolete. Their time, their effort, and their energy becomes obsolete. Very obsolete. Because of the boundaries that you have established. Absolutely. You've established some very strong boundaries here, and they can't push through it because you're like, who is that? Oh, you again? Yes, and now unseen is in reverse, but they feel seen. They don't feel unseen anymore, which is where they had the time and effort and energy and the power to do this foolishness. When they felt unseen, that's where they felt the most powerful. And now that you see them, they feel powerless, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, whatever. And this is when you laugh. Say, it's a right time. Somebody could be listening to Reby Jackson, Centipede. When the centipede is hot. Centipede! Oh, man. I don't care what nobody say. They are comical. You hear me? They comical as hell, y'all. Oh, my God. I'm hearing cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. Somebody listening to Wu-Tang? You may like Wu-Tang, okay? So judgment here, because of the social conditioning that they accepted as real or true, now they're being judged for it. Let me repeat that. Since they were so gung-ho to accept the social conditioning surrounding their environment here, they're now being judged. Oh, well. Now they got a bad attitude. Like I said with Scooby-Doo, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids. You the pesky kid. That makes sense. You like that annoying kid and you're not annoying. I'm not calling you annoying, okay? All right. But you're like that little pesky kid that just keep asking questions and you know you shouldn't be asking no type of question. You're supposed to just deal with it in that kind of way. So it's bringing forth a lot of bad attitude here because you won't push or you won't move. You're not to be moved. That ain't now they're scared of change. Now they're scared. They're afraid of change. Oh well, that has nothing to do with you. Oh man. Yeah, we have force field. We have force field here. Yeah, nobody can penetrate your force field because you see it. You see it for what it is. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. And they want you to unsee it. Well, how can they get you to unsee it when they won't leave you alone? They keep egging on the situation when there should never been a situation to begin with. And they kept egging it on because they felt that they could. Okay. We got elder here. So they could have been taking we'll say damaging advice from an elder. I'll put it in that way. Okay? Just because that person may be considered an elder physically doesn't mean that they're wise. Let me repeat that. Just because physically you may see an elder in its elder state doesn't mean that they have any wisdom to offer you or to give to you. And that's not for everybody. Okay, I want to make that very clear. I'm not speaking about all elders as a whole. I'm specifically speaking about the low vibrational ones who think because they are a certain age or status or time in their life here that they are they have the, they can give advice. And sometimes the advice that they give is not the best. That makes sense. So they're trying to retrace or retract their steps surrounding this elder here. Now the elder is dancing around them. Well, I never told you to do that. They're backtracking. Well, who told you to do that? And what happened and what? Because this elder here was very, very, very confident in their darkness that this was going to work. So this could be a mother figure, a grandmother figure, an elder here, however it resonates. But someone that doesn't know the in and outs of life from a positive perspective or a positive outlook or point of view here. They decided to listen to this person here. And now the same person that they received information from is now dancing around the questions, won't answer the questions that these individuals are bringing towards them here. I'm hearing the name Abernathy. Abernathy? Abernathy, Abernathy. Someone loves pumpkin spice, or you make your own pumpkin spice tea, or coffee or latte. Someone's making cinnamon tea or lemon tea. Yeah, so they look like a clown. Big bozo. Is what they are. Thank you, Sarah. They all look like a big clown. Honk, honk. All they missing is the big nose. That's all they missing is the big nose here. And even if they were to put the red nose on their face here, people will still see them. So they try to hide that big red nose from everyone here, but if you look behind, it's all over. The clownery is all over them. It's painted all over them. Thank you, Derek. It's painted all over them. The clownery and the tomfoolery, child. Oh, goodness gracious. They're spying on you, but in the dark. And you like, oh, okay. You like, you remember Harriet the Spy? Her name was Michelle Trenchenberg or something like that. I think she actually passed away, if I'm not mistaken. But anywho, Harriet the Spy was also with Rosie O'Donnell. It was a movie back in the like late 90s, mid 90s or so. One of my favorite movies. Is a classic. And Harriet was one that was a seeker of truth, but she was very different, very unique. In regards to the things that she will always try to discover. I will even put Dennis the Menace as well too. Dennis the Menace was also like a voyager or always traveling, you know. But anywho, I say all that to say here, they're spying on you, but don't realize that they're being spied on. So what you do to another person is what another person is going to do to them. They don't realize that, but they're realizing now. So specifically, this card says, seeker of secrets, intelligence agent, covert, okay, I'm not gonna say that word, undercover, okay, seeker of secrets here. So these individuals wanted to spy in your life and wanted to seek the secrets of you. You don't live in secrets, if that makes sense. It's the difference between secrecy and privacy. Okay, big difference between secrecy and privacy. You're private, but they thought that you were hiding something because they thought you were hiding secrets because of your privacy. So they thought that they needed to spy on you to see how they can spill your secrets. When you speak the truth and when you walk in truth, there's really no secrets, but people can't see past that because, again, you come off as mysterious. So they think there's some secrecy in your mysteriousness. Okay, whatever. Let them think what they want, y'all. Because they're not learning. Whatever. Whatever you say, partner. Just leave them alone. Okay. Yeah, a mother. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just know they're hiding something. They're in the dark and we can't see, but they're in the dark. What's the difference between you being in the dark or more so being in privacy versus them being in secrecies? Their secrets are not private. Does that make sense? Difference between secrecy and privacy is that their secrets are not private. They don't live a private life, despite them trying to stay underneath the radar or trying to be covert or trying to hide. Their secrets, this mother's secrets, it's not private. It's not. They look at your privacy as a form of secrecy. It's literally crisscrossed. So this is why they run themselves down. This is why they become so lethargic and tired here, because they just know that you're hiding something from them. What is it? What you hiding? Don't answer that. That's a rhetorical question. But what are you hiding? They don't understand that. Remember, people can only treat you based on their level of experience or level of comprehension. And these individuals here, their comprehension is very low. It's very subpar. Okay? So you cut it up. See, Butcher is here. You cut up their lies. And he was like, that don't make sense. The formula that they formulated to create their lies here, you were like, that don't make sense. So you broke it down. You cut it down. And this is how you were able to determine or able to see their secrets in public, not private. Again, guilt will make them tilt. A guilty person cannot stay still. You're going to see it if you know what you're looking for. And they played right into the blueprint and gave you everything, literally, figuratively, spiritually. They literally gave you everything without you even having to touch or lift a finger. Checkmate. I'm going to keep saying it. Just let them be. Let them be, boo. It's like, put me in the game, coach. Yeah. You know who your coach is? Take a wild guess, collective. Huh? Take a wild guess in regards to who your coach is. Spirit, God, Jesus, universe, Krishna, Buddha, ancestors. Shall I go on and on? That's your coach. And your coach was giving you the bit by bit. Your coach was giving you the play by play, and you were able to beat them at their own game. Your coach, source, spirit, divine, trained you for this moment. Yes, it did. That big source of energy trained you for this moment. That big source energy nurtured you to train you, to put you in the game. Yes, absolutely. Developed a plan, encouraged you, support you. That's who your coach is. Despite them not being able to understand, comprehend, or connect to the coach that is a part of you here. So they want to destroy the coach that they can't see. Listen, okay, Divine Collective. You've always been an employee. You've always been employed, if that makes sense. You've always been employed by source or divine. You have. That's the truth. The actual truth. Since you were young. Yes. You made a career out of this. Connecting to source. Connecting to the divine. You made a career out of it. And look where your life is getting ready to take you. You're getting ready to flourish in ways that even you may not be able to comprehend in this point in time. But you made a great move. You made a great career move. And now you're being promoted. Does that make sense? You're universally being promoted by the choice or the path that you decided to take. Great goddamn job, collective. Great job. Yes. Let me give y'all some flowers. Come on. Flowers, flowers, flowers. One more time. Flowers, flowers, flowers. Come on. Come on now. Who they think they fooling? This is why they feel betrayed by you. Because they can't see what you can see. Because they can't feel what you can feel. This is why they feel so betrayed by you. Thank you. Thank you, Kendra. Yes, you've learned. Yes. You've learned, and you've learned well. And as I mentioned, you've graduated from all of what you've learned of life. They don't understand it. So you became a messenger, and we're all messengers in our own right. Yes, we are. It just depends on how you perceive it here, but you are the courier due to you being employed by the greatest coach of them all, spirit, source, divine, ancestors. Again, however way you do your thing. However way you do your thing. You're now the messenger because you learned. You said, put me in, coach. And the coach did. So now you're in a position where now that you have the messages because you learned from this. And now you can do what you need to do with the messages that you received because you learned. Not touchdown, but yeah, touchdown. And they do the little... You know when... You know when the little leagues or whatever, the little football people, the little junior varsity people, they hit a touchdown. They were like, they do a little, they do a little dance. And you deserve to be celebrated, period. Remember the movie Little Giants with Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis? Yeah, that's the perfect example. Perfect example. Now I need to sit and watch that today. I feel very nostalgic, but yeah. Yeah, see, magician. And you are a magician in your life. Yes, you are. Don't you ever forget it. And don't go against yourself. You are the magician in your life again because the coach put you in. Yes. The coach put you in and turned your career of life into something great where not only you can see it, but other people around you can see. Yes. So you cooking it up, you know, you chefing it up, or you could be a chef, an actual chef. You may love to cook, however it resonates, but you are the creator. Literally, you are the cooker. You are the chef in your life. You chopping it up, you stewing it up, you bubbling it up. You are, thanks to the coach that help to mold and shift, because when you cook, sometimes you have to break things down. You have to chop things down. You have to knead things. You have to mold things, depending on what you're cooking. But you are changing or shifting or altering what the coach is giving to you. So you ask for something, the coach like, okay, no problem, here. So you're receiving this information, insight, intel, whatever here. The coach is like, the coach's source, divine. Here you go. Okay, well, let me start to shift this. Let me change it up. Let me this and let me da-da-da. Let me add a little bit more salt inside of it. No, I need a little bit more sugar. No, let me take away the sugar and need them. You know what I mean? You're changing things in a way to where now you are that big magician in your life. You are. You are. What you cooking? So now they're mad, or they look like the madman here. They are a madman or a mad woman. It's a embracer of madness. So they embrace their madness. They've always had madness. They just embrace it more. They're in a frenzy. They're in a chaotic situation. They're very unruly. And yeah, this is what it is. So there's a lawyer here. There's a lawyer that's going to be, their license is going to be revoked from them. What's behind here? Dang. Okay. And for it to stick like that, I don't even use these cards. But for it to stick like that, that's a symbolic for me. But we have lawyer and educator here. So there was a lawyer that was educating them to do certain things as well too, more so criminalistic things. So this lawyer's license will be taken or revoked from them because of the bad advice. They painted a picture. Come on, spirit. They painted a certain picture here so that way people couldn't see the bigger picture. Because if you have a white canvas, I'll use tattoos for an example. I don't have any tattoos, okay? That's just not my thing. But for the ones that have had tattoos, and let's say that you got your first tattoo many years ago, many moons ago, right? And as years go by, you get older, you're like, you know what? I don't like the tattoo. Maybe it's faded. So you go in to get a cover up. I'll use it in that way. Painting. You're getting a cover up. So initially when you got the tattoo, everything was good. You liked it. But, you know, as time went on, you was like, I don't like it. So now you're going to shift the way you perceive or see the actual tattoo, the initial tattoo that you receive, if that makes sense. So you go and you get a cover up. And when you get a cover up, you can't even see what was behind the initial tattoo. If that makes sense. So painter is to depict. It is a depiction. It's an abstract. Could be very abstract. It's a form. It's a sensation here. So now you're painting things on your own terms here. Yeah, architect. Absolutely. Yeah. You are. Yes, and the community sees. Yeah, it's traveling through the community. Absolutely. Yes. You may be considered a bard, B-A-R-D, which is a keeper of epic tales. Like, as you get older and progress in life, you're going to look back at this like, man, I got story for days. Like that kind of way, you're going to become very wise as you become older. Or legend. So you're dealing with a lost soul here. They are lost souls. They're a stranger to themselves. Hey, Yvette, I'm good. How you doing? Okay. They are lost soul. They're a stranger to themselves. Lost soul and stranger. Yes. They don't know themselves. Lost soul is a seeker of clarity. They didn't want the clarity. They were only seeking, I wouldn't say they were seeking clarity, and from this point of view, they were seeking destruction. That's the only term or terminology or verbiage that they understand. Seeker of chaos, destruction. That's all they knew. That's all they understood. So because they're lost soul, it put them in a position here where they became a wanderer of their own confusion because they don't understand themselves. Again, they're a stranger to themselves. And in order for them to feel validated by other people, they allowed other people to confirm who they were. They did. That's why they were able, in this point of view here, to paint certain pictures because they allowed other people to paint it for them. Oh yeah, you got to stay away from I'll put it this way. The karmics wanted people to respect them, but they also wanted people to paint them in a way that their respect looked like a form of fear. And it's like, hey, you don't get the fuck out of here with that weird stuff. You know? They wanted you to be afraid of their lost soul of self. And you don't need to be. Stay away, of course. Acknowledge it, of course. But being afraid of this, no. Just no. They're more afraid of themselves than they are of you. Or you can flip it however you need to flip it. Creator, genius. The creator is the genius one. It's the smartest one of them all. Yes, it is. That creator, divine source energy is the most intelligent source of energy that you can connect with. Yes. But they don't see it in that way. And that's okay. It's not for you to show and to prove what you see and what you feel. It's either they believe it or they don't believe it. Okay. Yeah, it's the civil servant here. It came out in reverse. A public officials, they could be on administrative duty, right? I'm gonna put it upright so you can see, but they can be on administrative duty at this time because of what they've done. It was ridiculous. It didn't have to go this far, is what I'm saying. All of this was for nothing, literally. Remember, that's all they had. They had nothing, so that's what they offered. All of this, literally and figuratively, was for nothing. That's what they gave. They gave nothing and lots of nothing. So at the end of it, because that's all they had to offer and gave, that's what they got in return. Does that make sense? They gave nothing, they received nothing back. That's the reciprocation for them. This is why you can't be generous to a person who have nothing. I know that may sound harsh and brash, but if you're able to look at it from that perspective, because if they don't have anything to give to you, life is reciprocal. It is 100% reciprocal. It is. Plants is reciprocal with the sun. The sun is reciprocal with the plants. Water is reciprocal with the plants. Plants are reciprocal with the water. It's a collaboration. You have to collaborate. It's a collaboration. And they wanted to collaborate with someone who had it all, literally. That's what the creator is, all. That's what the creator is. And you had it all. So they wanted to put their nothingness in your all. Well, if you do that or you allow that to happen, you ain't going to have anything, boo. You won't have anything. Let's see what else. Look, come on. It says swindler. Yeah, it says swindler right here. So they try to swindle you from the all, if that makes sense. Like, they try to swindle you from the all here and then research it. They try to research your all. Where they getting that from? How they getting that? We took everything from them. Wait, how were they able to replenish what we took from them? No, wait, who's helping them? No, who are they talking to? No, everything is 3D for them. Everything is 3D for them. Everything. Everything is 3D. Despite them trying to do things in the 5D, in the spiritual world here, they don't understand that what they pray about or what they manifest is going to come down. Does that make sense? And today's Sunday too, so y'all getting a nice sermon, okay? They try to research you to swindle your all, the all of you, and it failed. Because if you consistently continue to connect to the all, the creator here, you're always going to come out the smarter one. The genius one. Oh, how they beat me? Oh, well, I took everything. I took their car. I took their money. I took their child. I took their children. I took their love life. I took everything. And I don't know. Wait, how are they able to get that back? Because those things you can get back. Certain things, of course. The vanity part or aspects of things are the things that you can get back. If that makes sense. So they took away things that you could replenish. When a plant finish growing its abundance or finish its produce or its what do you call it? It's when a plant finishes its like growing its crop or its produce, it takes another cycle, it takes another cycle for it to replenish or to produce something again. So if nature can do it, well, why can't you? Again, you were dealing with someone that had nothing to offer you. That's just what it is. They had nothing. So they got nothing. And they have no one to blame but themselves. So now they feel trapped with the 8 of Swords, of course. Because they're stuck in their nothingness. They're stuck in their nothingness here. So now they're trying to retreat. You hear me well, eh? They're trying to retreat by the hermit mode. Could be a Virgo, because Virgo represents hermit. But they're trying to retreat in their nothingness. So when they finally retreat in their nothingness, that's all they're getting. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know what to do. Nothing's coming to me. No one's helping me. No one is listening to what I have to say. Does that make sense? They revert back to their original state or their reset state. The Tower, nothing. If you I gotta be careful my words. If you poof something, I'll put it that way. If you poof something here and it's poof to smithereens, at the end of all the debris, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. If that makes sense? So let them revert back into their nothingness because that's where they came from. Remember, they're the one that disadvantaged themselves when they let me drink some water. Hold on. Hold on. They're the one that disadvantaged themselves when they gave all of their nothing to put into this. They put all of their nothing. They started off with all first. Yes, they did. They did. But things happened in their life where they started to get off the path, or their trajectory changed a bit. So they got veered off their path from their all based on their experiences. So they had all, but they gave it nothing. That makes sense. So that's what they left with. The Tower. Could be a Scorpio. I'll even put it in this way. The all that they had at the time, they gave to people who had nothing. Yes. Ye son and yes son states on YouTube, nothing plus nothing equals what? Come on now. Nothing plus nothing is nothing. And that's what they gave. And that's what they received. So now they can't celebrate. Well, of course you ain't gonna be able to celebrate nothing. How can you? If I'm asking you for a bowl of food or a plate of food, and you give me that plate of food, that bowl of food, and it has nothing in there, well, what am I going to eat? You gave me nothing. If that makes sense. Oh, man. The death card is here with the moon. The death and the moon is here. We have the Nine of Swords here. It's just endings, tragic endings, tragedy. Hey, just stay out the way. Get your plate of food. Get your frock. Remember, a frock is a nice attire, your nice outfit or so. Get your frock and just watch. Just watch. And be like, ooh, dang, like you're watching a boxing fight, right? And you have your bet set on a particular boxer. And the box that you may have bet on may not have been the best option for you at the time. And they just get hit and wham. You were like, ooh, you know what I mean? You just kind of like wincing for them like, dad, you need to stick and, you know what I mean? You need yes, a frock. A frock is a nice attire. Yes, get your frock. Yes, soon come. Hey, Aisha, soon come. Okay? Forgiveness. They're asking for forgiveness, but they're not putting anything into the forgiveness that they're asking for. If that makes sense? Forgiveness helps to replenish you back to all. If that makes sense. And they don't have that. They keep asking for it. At the time, they were able to receive the forgiveness from you and from Source and things of that nature here. But when you pulled away and when Source pulled away, they were left with the nothing that they came in with. Okay? Oh, it's a glitching? All right, hold on. Let me come out and come back in. I'm going to come back out. Hold on. Hold on. Why is it glitching? Okay, hold on. All right, hold on, y'all. TikTok say it was glitching. Y'all got a lot to say. Hold on. Hold on one second. So that's why I ask you guys to always follow me on all my social media accounts. So just in case it do start the glitch and stuff like that, let me reset it. Give me a second, y'all. This is one of the reasons why I'm like, make sure you follow me on my social media accounts, because if it do one go down, I still got the others, if that makes sense. All right, let's see. All right, perfect. All right, let's see if that works. Oops. Somebody's going to a podiatrist, or you could be getting your feet done. I don't know if you are aware of this, but if you have issues with like ingrown nails and things of that nature, you can actually go to a podiatrist. Is that like an actual salon? You can go to a podiatrist. They can actually, work on your feet for you here. Okay. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. But yeah, come join me. So we have physical pain and message of warning here. So because of the nothing that they have, now they're in physical pain because they have nothing. They don't have anything to fall on. They don't have a cushion to fall on. All they're falling on is literally nothing, you know? So this is why they're feeling the physical pain of their actions. And their actions led them up to literally nothing. The real test that you need to learn or you should learn is you. You are the real test of you. The more you learn about you, the more you're going to pass the test with flying colors, if that makes sense. That's the only way you're going to be able to succeed in this, by learning you. Not them, learning them too, yeah. But you got to learn you first in order to learn others. You have to learn you first before you can learn others. Because if you have a starting point, or if you have a blueprint, and you're able to see it in that way, then you know what I mean? Hey, y'all. I never have issues on TikTok, but I'm not going to let that stop me. It's okay. I'm just going to keep going. But yeah, where am I at? All right, 75. Let's see what else here. Yeah, rebound. So now, since they can't beat you, now they want to join you. And it's not working because you are receiving the closure that you needed to receive surrounding all of this foolishness here. Because this, again, this was pure foolishness. Pure foolishness. Yeah, broken promises. That's all they had were broken promises. And if you look closely at the broken promises, it's filled with nothing. That's what broken promises are. It's filled with nothing here. Disappointment, expectations, failed commitments, loss, trust. Words mean nothing. Their words are empty. It don't hold anything, if that makes sense. Energy vampires. Yes. And they can't get access to you here. They're wanting a rebound, but they're coming in with nothing but broken promises. Y'all know that song by 3LW? I'm getting really tired of your broken promises. Looking at your page and seeing different numbers and numbers. Call you on, you said you're hanging with your fellas. Hanging with my girls, you're always getting jealous and jealous. Remember that? You do. You don't. No more. No more. Baby, I'ma do it right. Yeah, that was about... That whole album was. You hear me? 3LW, but yeah. The album was a bop, boo. Okay. Shoot. So yeah, so all the tea has spilled because they kept stirring the tea. Yes, all of the tea was spilled because they kept spilling the tea. They kept rocking the tea. They kept twirling the tea. They kept doing it with gossip, and that's fine. They could do whatever they want. So this is why things are being broken, or you're breaking the cycle surrounding this here. And I'm actually glad you say that. DD states on YouTube they can't keep targeting us. When they're targeting you, they're targeting literally you. The inner parts of you is what they're targeting. They want you to be distracted from what they're doing towards you. So if you are distracted, you're not going to be sound here. You're not going to be sound here. You're not going to be sound here. Does that make sense? How can they get you from not paying attention to what they're doing towards you, but still be successful in trying to break you down? Try to get you against you. They need you involved to get you, to break you down. So that's why they say, oh, you're insane and you're this and you'll never be and you're yeah. And that's not true. It's not true. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to stop right there. We got Scorpio. I'm going to try to see if I can come back. You know what? I'm going to come back on live tonight specifically for TikTok. I want to make it up to TikTok today. So if you're following me from TikTok, make sure y'all follow me on all my other social media accounts. So that way, if something like this happens, y'all can still follow me, okay? That's why I go live on all 3 devices. I'm actually getting another device, and I'm going to see if I can try to go live on Twitch. I'm going to try Twitch again. But we have Scorpio, okay? You could be or they could be. We have Gemini here, okay? We have Aquarius. Thank you, Kay. We have Pisces. We have Leo. I think I mentioned Virgo. Capricorn came out. Scorpio came out. Sagittarius. Cancer. Taurus. All right, so if that resonates, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to grab a copy of this book here. It's called Wisdom Beyond Wounds. It is to help you to heal and guide you through all of the narcissistic abuse that you may have experienced or encountered here. All right, again, it's called Wisdom Beyond Wounds. It is readily available for purchase on Amazon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all later tonight. Take care. Bye, TikTok. Thank you, boo. Now they want to pop up on TikTok. I'm going to fix it. I ain't worried about that. Love to Facebook and Instagram as well. I'll see you on the next one. See you later, YouTube. Mwah. Be great.